Hey there, it's Dave Altavilla for Hot Hardware here with LG's V20 Android Nougat powered flagship superphone. The LG V20 is the follow-on to last year's LG V10 and a quick current follow-up to the modular LG G5. LG's V series focuses on high-quality, premium, large-format builds with all the bells and whistles, and the V20 is very much in keeping with that, sporting a bodacious 5.7-inch QHD display with native resolution of 2560 by 1440. Driven by a Qualcomm Snapdragon 820 SoC, 4 gigs of LPDDR4 RAM, and 64 gigs of flash storage with expansion via SD card for up to another 2 terabytes. All of that cutting-edge silicon is backed up by a 3200 mAh removable battery. The LG V20 is definitely a phone built for power users. Incidentally, this is a preview unit from LG, so performance characteristics and potentially even the product bundle could change somewhat upon its official launch. But the features don't stop there. The V20 also sports dual wide-angle lenses, both a front-facing selfie cam and a rear 8-megapixel wide-angle shooter as well, along with a standard 60-megapixel rear camera with f1.8 aperture and OIS. In addition to imaging features, the V20 also has an amped-up audio circuit with a 32-bit quad hi-fi DAC, or digital to analog converter. Finally, for connectivity, you get the now ubiquitous 802.11ac Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 4.2, and yes, USB Type-C, but along with a standard headphone jack. Thanks very much. And at the risk of sounding a bit infomercial-esque, but wait, there's more. LG's second screen, similar to the V10, is back again in the V20, only now it offers double the brightness and a 50% larger font size compared to the V10's second screen. This 160 by 1040 secondary IPS display allows you to receive notifications and alerts, and it also gives you quick access to a few key apps and utilities on the phone. If you were a fan of this feature before, the V20's implementation is that much more refined, prominent, and useful. LG bundles in the usual assortment of goodies with the V20, but if presentation is everything, as they say, LG nailed it. It looks pretty good here. You get the usual AC adapter and a nice flat style USB-C to standard USB cable, though it's frankly a little on the short side. The power adapter and phone itself support Qualcomm's Quick Charge 3.0 technology as well for fast recharge times. In addition, users who purchase the V20 for a limited time will also receive a pair of these B&O Play H3 lightweight earbuds. They sound pretty darn good as well, with solid mid-range and crisp highs, though lacking a bit of low end comparatively to our personal favorite Bose IE2s. The LG V20 is a well-built phone with a rather unique construction. LG notes that the V20 employs lightweight aluminum together with a new silicon-based material. AL6013, a metal composite found in aircraft, and sailboats, and mountain bikes, was selected to cover the back of the phone due to its sturdy but lightweight properties. It's comprised mostly of aluminum, but also magnesium, silicon, copper, and even a bit of titanium. The top and bottom of the phone are protected from damage more so by silicon polycarbonate. LG claims this material, which is also found in some helmets, can reduce shock by more than 20% compared to conventional materials. Walking around the V20 on the left edge is a volume rocker. And we've got a mic port and LG's IR blaster on top that works in concert with LG's Quick Remote app. Nice to see this is still built into the device. On the right edge is the V20's rear cover release button, but on bottom is where most of the action is, including a bottom firing speaker port, USB-C sync and charge port, another mic, and a standard 3.5mm headphone jack. On the rear of the V20 are 2 cameras, an 8-megapixel f2.4 wide-angle shooter and a 16-megapixel f1.8 standard camera with LED flash and optical image stabilization. Also back here is a combination power and screen lock button and fingerprint reader that works really well, opening the phone quickly once you train it a few times with a scan of your fingertip. On the top front face is the earpiece speaker, of course, and the V20's front-facing 5-megapixel camera, which also sports a wide-angle lens and an f1.9 aperture. LG backs up all of these cameras with a pretty solid software setup that has full auto and manual modes for both stills and video. You also get lots of different shot modes like panorama, slow-mo, and even multi-shot modes that combine all three onboard cameras to compose a shot. Some manual functions include things like ISO, shutter speed, and metering, and the ability to shoot RAW format. The V20's rear-facing 8-megapixel wide-angle camera works relatively well, giving you the ability to capture a much wider horizontal field of view for a scene, which could come in handy in things like outdoor shooting in large venues or live performances and the like. Wide-angle shots with the rear camera do, however, currently result in a bit of a fisheye effect, with certain straight edges in a scene being warped in spots. This is perhaps something that LG can mitigate in future software updates, but again, we'd underscore that the V20 we're testing here is technically a pre-release unit. Otherwise, shooting stills with the LG V20 proved to offer reasonably good results, though perhaps with a bit of over-sharpening effect in spots. Low-light performance is also a bit of a mixed bag currently, some shots having notable grain, while other shots looked better as the V20's f1.8 aperture 16-megapixel sensor is relatively responsive to pulling in light. Shooting video with the V20 proved to be an excellent experience with good image stabilization and responsive autofocus. The onboard mic system of the V20 includes 3 AOP, or acoustic overload point mics, that allow you to record high-quality audio without worrying about overdriving and clipping, causing distortion. Yogi. One more time. Yogi. And speaking of high fidelity, let's get back to that quad hi-fi DAC. You might brush it off as gimmickry at first, but I assure you, it's not. The feature is enabled or disabled via a software control switch in the settings control panel, and it's very much the real deal. Powered by an ESS ES9218 quad DAC, or digital to analog converter, the dynamic range with this feature enabled is appreciable. At first, when you enable the feature, it may sound to you like you lost a little bit of low-end response, but in reality, the low end is just tighter, less muddy, but every bit is present. If there was a single word to describe the effect, it would be accuracy. LG's Hi-Fi Quad DAC feature really does make a nice difference in fidelity. You'll need a quality set of headphones or buds and good source material to appreciate it fully, but there's no question, this isn't just a gimmick, it really does sound great. Another first for the LG V20 is that it's the first non-Google Nexus device to rock Android 7, aka Nougat. LG lightly skins Nougat with a glaze called UX 5.0 Plus. The interface is flat and clean with little drill down or hunt and peck, with multimedia functions catered to for easy access. The V20 is also capable of Android 7 Nougat's multi-window view. This brings formal split-screen functionality to Android for the first time with resizable display areas and the ability to drag text, images, and files from one app to another. Battery life with our pre-release unit so far seems respectable, though not standout. Comparatively versus other large format devices, the V20 comes up a bit short, though easily it will last the average user through a full day's mixed use. Under heavier workloads and when the secondary display is on continuously and not in your pocket or bag, the V20 drains its 3200 mAh battery quicker than we'd like. Again, battery life is still respectable though, and the good news is, of course, you can swap out that battery for backup. Performance-wise, the LG V20 feels nimble and crisp, with never a hiccup during our testing so far. The phone also stays cool and comfortable during heavy use as well. It feels like maybe Android Nougat has influence here, but for sure, LG's UX5 Plus UI isn't getting in the way and slowing things down. And the V20's Snapdragon 820 chip puts up some of the best Android flagship benchmark numbers we've seen. It's about on par with devices like Samsung's Galaxy S7, the HTC 10, or Motorola's Moto Z series, which also employ the Snapdragon 820, though the V20 scored closer to the top of the pack for our initial testing. In a nutshell, the LG V20 is a solid high-performance Android device with some standout features like its tasty Hi-Fi Quad DAC, its second screen and dual wide-angle cameras, and Android 7 Nougat OS. Style-wise, it's a little understated, but if that's your thing and you like them on the bigger side at 5.7 inches, it's a cutting-edge Android option to consider, to be sure. We're still waiting on pricing, however, and we'll update that in the notes below. But be sure to swing by HotHardware.com for our full review of the LG V20. Toss in a thumbs up if you liked our little nickel tour here, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more tech product reviews, industry event coverage, and our chuckle-inspiring 2.5 Geeks webcast. It's Dave Altavilla for Hot Hardware here with the LG V20 Android Nougat Nugget. Thanks for stopping by.